Good morning, my dear students. In today's class, we were discussed about the rest of the portions in first chapter, that is crop production and management, and also we were started the second chapter in biology. Okay, so in our previous class, we were discussed about how to increase the yield of a cropland by following different methods, and by the scientists, they are using different techniques to produce new varieties of plants that have the desired quality. And those techniques, there are two methods that we study, and there are lots of other methods too. The first method for improving the crop yield is plant breeding, and the second method is hybridization. Okay, through plant breeding, it is a technique by which the scientists will control the reproduction in plants in order to produce the new variety of plant that have the desired quality. That technique is called as plant breeding, and through plant breeding, new varieties of plants can be produced that have the desired quality. Okay, and the second method is hybridization. Hybridization is also for improving the quality of a cropland, and in that the scientists will develop new varieties of crops by crossbreeding two different varieties. Okay, crossbreeding two different varieties of crops that will result a production of new variety of plant. And the plant that is produced through hybridization is called as a hybrid. And this hybrid will be having the qualities of both the parents, both the variety of parent. For hybridization, the scientists will select two plants. One is considered as a male plant and the other one is considered as a female plant. Okay, and from the female plant, the anthers, which is the male reproductive part, is removed. So the removal of anthers from a female plant in its bud stage, it is called as emasculation. Okay, and for preventing the self-pollination, that means the pollen grains from the male plant, male flower is fallen on the stigma of the female flower. So there occurs the cross-pollination, and in order to prevent the self-pollination, from the same flower, the male and female gametes are come closer, that there occurs the self-pollination, and that will not produce the variety of plant. The same plant or exact copy of parent will be created. So we need a different variety of plant. So in order to form a different new variety of plant, we are taking the cross pollination. The pollen from a male plant is collected and it is dusted over the stigma of a female plant. There occurs the cross pollination, and that will result in the formation of a zygote and a new variety of plant that have the quality of both male and a female plant. Okay, so the desired quality of plants can be produced. I will tell an example. A male plant, one of the plant is having a high yielding capacity, and the other plant or the female plant will be having a disease resistant capacity. And when we cross pollinate these two plants, they'll produce a different zygote, and that will develops to a new plant that have the quality of both the parents, like high yielding and disease resistant capacity. That new plant will be have. Okay, and the seed that is produced through this hybridization are called as stock of a new variety. And the next topic or the last topic coming under this chapter is food from animals. We know that by the domestication of certain animals, we get the desired product. For example, milk is obtained from cow, buffalo, goat, camel, etc. And also, this milk can be used for the production of milk products like butter, cheese, then curd, etc. So, the breeding, the science that deals with the breeding, caring and feeding the domesticated animals are called as animal husbandry. Animal husbandry. So through animal husbandry, we are obtaining the desired product. In the case of egg, we get the egg and meat from the animal, the organisms like hen, duck, turkey, etc. And also the fishes are reared and they are cultivated in fish nurseries, and this technique is called as pisciculture. What is meant by pisciculture? The rearing and farming of fish in nurseries in a large scale is called as pisciculture. So, what is the purpose of this pisciculture? We obtain the cod liver oil, and that is rich in vitamin D. Okay, so that is the importance of pisciculture, and these are the products that obtained from animals. And we are next continued with the second chapter, microorganisms, friend and foe. We know that in our surrounding there are lots of organisms present, and in that there are certain organisms that we cannot see with the naked eye. In our air, in our surrounding air itself, there are certain organisms present which cannot be seen with our naked eye, and that is called as microorganism. They can be observed only under microscope. We can call them simply as microbes. Okay, and there are unicellular microbes and multicellular microbes present. So how we can define the microorganisms? The organisms which cannot be seen with the naked eye and can only be observed with the help of a microscope is called as microorganisms or microbes. And the science that deals with the study of microbes are called as microbiology. Okay, and the scientist who works under this microbiology is called as microbiologist. The scientist who first discovered the living cell under a microscope is called as Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Okay, so that's about microorganisms. And where do they live? Where do the microorganisms live? They can live in every conditions like water, air, soil, etc. And they are found in groups, and that groups are called as colonies. Okay. And they can also survive under extreme conditions like desert conditions, cold condition, then hot air, water currents, etc. So they can live under these extreme conditions. They have a hard protective covering over their body, and that covering is called as cyst. Okay, and there is an activity in your textbook to show the presence of microorganism in water and soil. So just watch this activity. To check the presence of microorganisms in water, collect some water in a beaker from a pond or a stagnant pool. Take few drops of water and spread them on a glass slide. Then put a cover slip on the water drops and examine under the microscope. So when we observe this with the help of a microscope, we can see large number of minute organisms which are called as microorganisms moving in water. Protozoa, amoeba, pseudopods, paramecium. All these microorganisms will be present. Similarly, we can collect some moist soil from the field in a beaker and add some clean water to it and mix well. After the soil gets settled down, take out water with the help of a dropper and take few drops of water on a slide and observe under a microscope. So, through these activities, we can find that pond water and soil contain a large number of microbes. These are the things that we have studied in today's live class, and the rest of the portions will be taken in our next class. Okay, thank you.